Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I help my client lose over 10 pounds and inches in 90 days eating more food. She came to me as a busy mom, 48 years old. She had perimenopause symptoms, chronic cravings, stubborn belly fat. She tried the low carb, the cardio, the keto. She did all the things, but still could not lose the weight. She's going to be joining us today, and I'm going to be going through everything that we did with her diet, training, her nutrition. I'm going to be busting those common weight loss myths that so many women hear will help them reach their goals. We're going to be deep diving into gut health, hormones, fasting, and so much more. Thank you so much for joining us today, Becky. Can you start off by sharing a little bit about what your stats were, your weight, energy, your overall health, and even those struggles that you were facing before coming to me?
Before I came to you, I was 110 pounds. I'm a little over 5 feet tall, and a lot of it was sitting in my belly. I had been doing strength training and a lot of cardio. And then anytime I was like, I don't feel well, I don't feel like myself, I want to try and lose these few pounds, I would do more cardio because that's always worked in the past for me. That was my thing. I'll just bump up the cardio. And that wasn't working at all, not even a little. It wasn't moving the needle. I would be like, oh, I sweat a lot, so I'm doing something, but it wasn't really helping. I feel like the things I was doing in the past with my nutrition weren't really working. I was definitely not eating enough protein. I wasn't eating enough early in the day, so that later in the day, I would have sugar cravings or carb cravings, and I would eat those. And it was just a cycle, and I just couldn't lose the weight in my belly at all. And I knew that I needed some sort of change because perimenopause is different. It makes your body different.
Yeah, people don't understand that when we get sometimes in late 30s, we could even start hitting perimenopause. And it's around 5 to 10 years where we're having all these shifts in our estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. We start storing that belly fat, and what used to work no longer was. I would love if you can share the things that you were trying, what specifically you tried, and did it work for you in the past, and why not do you feel it did now?
In the past, I feel I would run more or cycle more. And a lot of that would help get me back on track. And that did not work anymore. I would cut my calorie intake also. And that wasn't working either. And then I was like, I can't really cut anymore because there's nowhere else to go. I just felt like I was almost at this point where do I just have to accept this?
It's such a horrible thing because so many women feel the same way. They feel like they're stuck. They feel like they're getting older. And because we're getting older, that we're not able to feel strong and sexy and beautiful because we have all these shifts in our hormones and that it's just downhill. I don't believe that. And I know that prior, you were always in shape. But once we started having kids and once we hit perimenopause, we had all these shifts. I would love if you can share a little bit about how having these chronic cravings, these low energy, the belly fat, and not having that feeling of self confidence all the time in your own skin as we are getting older. How do you feel like this was actually impacting your life when you're trying all the things and you're not seeing those results?
Oh, it was terrible because I felt like none of my clothes were fitting well. And I felt like I didn't look good, which then was messing with my head. I just kept getting into this mindset of, am I never going to feel good about myself? Like when I get dressed to go out anymore, I would look in the mirror and be like, oh, I just don't feel good about myself.
And how soon into starting my program, and we're going to go into exactly what we did with your diet, your supplements to actually get you eating more and dropping over 10 pounds and that finally that belly fat. But can you tell me a little bit more about that?
The very first thing that happened was you had given us a smoothie recipe and said, this is like what I do for breakfast. Try it. And I was really apprehensive about it. And I was like, I need food in the morning. I don't know if this is going to work for me. Literally in the first week, I was like, this is so filling in the morning. That alone started to reduce my cravings within the very first week of starting the program. Then I just felt like I was prioritizing protein and really high quality carbs, fruits and vegetables, as opposed to empty carbs. And I think that was the biggest eye opener for me. Was I was filling up so much with empty carbs, and then that was just making me hungry, which was fueling this cycle. Whereas switching to the high quality carbs and the fruits and the vegetables was making me fuller, and I had more energy to be able to go out and do things, and I wasn't cranky. I felt it was actually starting to help with my hormonal fluctuations a little bit.
What were the specific changes with the hormones did you notice? And did just making these small, simple changes that you just mentioned start giving you changes in your body composition as well?
Oh my God, so many changes in my body composition. Like my belly is so much flatter now. The specific workouts that were in the program made me stronger. I'm really starting to focus on form, and I have realized certain things that I've been doing, very simple exercises like clamshells and good mornings, where I've been really focusing on my form and getting so much more out of even just body weight exercises that I wasn't before.
We move through things so fast and we're trying all these different training styles out. And it really is truly about finding the right program for your body, your hormones, which we're going to go into how to train to balance your hormones, build muscle in a moment. But it's also about getting the proper recovery and not swinging that weight around. You have to control it. You have to keep the time under tension. I work with a lot of women too that have a lot of inflammation in the joints. And simply by how I taught you, slowing down the movement, focusing on keeping the constant tension in the muscle, you're able to stimulate muscle hypertrophy and grow the muscle and have the changes in your body without going too heavy. That's a form of progressive overload that people just think we always have to lift heavier, push harder in the gym. If we have injuries or we have things that we can't do, we have to look at what we can and simply slowing down that movement, getting more mind muscle connection. That's going to give you that change without overloading your joints when we're in this place of life. You have to find that perfect balance for the individual to get the results. I would love to share a little bit more about exactly what we did with like your diet, your training as a busy mom to lose the weight. As I mentioned, it's not just about the calories in versus the calories out. When we do hit that perimenopause time, when you came to me, you were under 900 calories. You were like, Elizabeth, I am not hungry, but I want to lose weight. And I told you we're going to do the opposite, something more of a body composition, a reverse diet with you. And I told you that I may be increasing your food. We're going to be aiming for little to no weight gain, but I'm going to be working on all of the things that we were struggling with. When someone comes to me, we don't just do the calories in versus calories out. We have to look at why are you having a hard time reaching those goals? For you, we had the cravings. We weren't sleeping good. We had a busy life, so we had to make the nutrition very easy for you, not crazy recipes and all this time with meal prep. And we had to make it fit to you so that you were sleeping better, so that you were recovering better, and then finding the right demand too. Another thing is once we hit perimenopause, when we look at just the calories in versus the calories out, just like you said earlier, the naked carbohydrates. When we just have carbohydrate by itself, it spikes the insulin and we don't have the protein to work on our leptin, our ghrelin, which if you guys know of Ozempic, that actually helps you feel full and satiated, just like getting protein at that meal would, working on the leptin and ghrelin. And then by adding the fats, it really slows down that digestion and stabilizes the blood sugar. With you, it wasn't so much of, hey, let's cut your calories. I told you we are going to be focusing on the food eating practices, the quality of our food. We're going to be focusing on our stress, some time blocking to get you more time with your family. I'm going to set up your food for your gut so that we eliminate cravings, we get your energy up. And by focusing not on the calories, because we increased your calories over time, by focusing on getting everything in your left, all those hidden stressors together, making the nutrition slowly so that you weren't overwhelmed, everything started going. By making those changes, what did you see that you didn't see in the past? And why do you feel like you saw changes now versus with everything else you tried that every woman does? The cardio, the crazy intermittent fasting, the cutting all the carbohydrates out?
I think it worked this time because I didn't slowly backtrack. I didn't get to a point where I was like, I'm good, or oh, I'm having a bad day. And then a bad day turned into 2 bad days, into 3 bad days. I really stuck with it. And I feel I made changes that I'll be able to do like forever now. And I really can see like what those bad eating habits were doing to me. So I don't think I would ever go back to that place because I know how I felt and I don't want to feel that way anymore. Being older, I feel like I don't have that luxury because my body won't let me. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's like you're like, I'm gonna train harder. I'm gonna overtrain weight loss where I start losing weight and transforming. You're like, why do I feel more inflamed? Why is that scale going up? Why do I have more cravings the more carbs I cut out?
I think that the other thing that's so crazy is I did not at all understand the relationship between cardio and body inflammation at all. I really didn't until I started this program and started doing less cardio every day and more strength and feeling so much better.
Tell me a little bit more about what specific changes that you did, because a lot of women, they go toward the cardio and you were doing a lot. We shifted you. We didn't have you training every day, 3 to 4 days a week, strength, progressive overload that we're going to go into a second. But what changes? Why do you feel like that was different? Going to steps 2.
Because I feel before I would do maybe like half strength and half cardio, sometimes even a little bit less strength and a little more cardio, actually. And I feel that was just not changing my body composition at all. I wasn't feeling good. I feel like what we did when we shifted things and made it more strength and weight training focused and less cardio, A, it helped my body change, and B, it less like inflammation in my body that I'm feeling overall. That just seems to be what's working so much better for me. I just feel 100 times better.
It's so important that as a woman, when we're getting older, we're really focusing on the strength and we're keeping the lean muscle mass since we do lose it, as I mentioned, once we hit perimenopause. I had someone come to me and she was in her 60s and she was still working out. She was just doing more yoga, but she took away the resistance training and she went to the doctor. And the doctor was even telling her, it's like, you are at a place where you're having a lot of bone loss. She tried to work out. She's, Elizabeth, I have no strength left there. And I feel like I'm losing my health. And we focus so much because as women, when we're younger, we're doing everything. We can do every diet and try all these things out, and our body responds one way. But then when we get older, things shift around. And then sometimes when we have such big shifts and we get to this place where we don't feel good, we just want the fast fix. But the problem is when the health aspect is there with the changes in the hormones, we're losing all the muscle, we have chronic stress. Focusing on the extremes for fat loss, they don't give you the results. We have to focus on what can we do now to get you to a healthy weight. We have to get you to a healthy body. And that's addressing our gut, our hormones, our stress. All these women, we go on these reverse diets and we think it's as simple as, hey, just lift more weight, cut your cardio, and eat more food. But we have to look at also the individual and the state that we're in. If we have a lot of digestive issues, or if we have underlying thyroid issues going on, or anemia, or perimenopause, or we are on HRT or something, all of these things we have to take into consideration. And we get so frustrated because we make a change in our diet. And I did this when I was overweight. I would make a change. If I didn't see a result every single week, I would think I was doing something wrong and I would completely change it again. And I would never know what to do. Did you do this too, Becky?
Yes. And then you just keep like trying things that are not based at all in science or on macros or anything. I was like, I'm eating healthy because I was eating things that are lower calorie, but they weren't quality food and for sure not having enough protein. So I wasn't fueling my body properly at all.
Yeah. I even want to talk for a second about macronutrients and what we did specifically with yours, because I get the big question is, how do I figure out what my macros are? How much carbs, fat, and protein? And for you that are new to macros, you have your calories and then you have your carbs, fat, and protein. And those actually are what your macros are. So what I mean by that is we have protein, carbs, and fat. And for protein and carbohydrates, they're 4 calories per gram. And then fat is 9. So when you total them up, they give you your total calories for the day. The thing is, we don't just want to focus on calories because, as I mentioned earlier, If we're just eating a ton of carbs and empty carbs, it's not going to work on our leptin or ghrelin. You're not going to feel full and satiated. You're going to have cravings all through the day. The protein, that works on the leptin and the ghrelin. That keeps you full and satiated. Protein, as I taught you too, has a 20% thermogenic effect on food, meaning you are breaking down 20% of those calories and burning them. So it aids in weight loss. With our fat, that actually helps us absorb our fat-soluble vitamins at our meal. If you're just having rice and chicken and vegetables, add your avocado to it. Make a pesto with it. We want to get the healthy fats in there. We want to get the good quality protein so that you're full, you're satiated. Because of doing that, just by looking at the way we're planning our foods with you, that hugely affected your energy, your cravings, your gut health, your bowel movements. If you go too low in your fats, it affects your inflammation. It affects your hormones. It affects your brain. Like, you need that for absorbing the fat soluble vitamins. The carbohydrates with my woman, I never go to no carb diets or even keto diets under 60, 65 grams. The reason for that is we need carbohydrates as that immediate source of energy. It fuels your workouts and it helps with recovery. Even when I went on like carnivore and keto and all those low carb, over time, initially you may feel good, but over time you will start feeling lower energy. You're going to feel like you're not getting that pump anymore. Your ability to recover and build muscle, you start feeling it's going down. Even to me, anxiety and sleep, those started going because carbohydrates work with our cortisol and they lower our cortisol levels down. So when you are planning your macros, and just like what I did with Becky is I had her track for a few days with me to see where she's at. I don't just take a client from very low calories to go very high. We slowly built you up, but I set your macros specific for your body so that we have good hormone production. We have blood sugar regulation since we are hitting that perimenopause, and we had enough protein for recovery and for aiding into weight loss and having those positive appetite suppressant benefits on you. Have you tried to do macros in the past and done them a different way, Becky?
I have. I've done them in the past and tracked. And the problem that I ran into was I stopped tracking. That was first of all. And that was like the biggest thing. I just felt they weren't calculated necessarily right for me. There was a lot of thought around. Sometimes you can really just eat whatever as long as it's a carb or as long as it's a protein, as opposed to focusing on the quality of the carbs and the proteins. I think that was like a really big difference this time, and I 100% saw the difference. It made a huge impact. I would never go back to doing it the other way, but I also feel there were times where like we had a party or a celebration and maybe I ate a little bit outside of what I normally would, but I would just go right back to it the next day when I woke up in the morning, and it really made me feel good. I didn't feel like I had to miss out. I felt like I may have adjusted a little bit earlier in the day, but that I was able to like still fit it all in and feel really good. And I didn't feel guilty and I didn't feel like I ruined everything. And I thought that was a really positive aspect of working with you as well.
To me, that's such a huge win. Why do you feel that way? Because you have the events, you have the parties. What made it different this time, that when you had all these kind of gatherings come up that kept you on track?
Honestly, I really feel that knowing that like the quality of what I was eating, like I didn't feel like, oh, okay, now I'm just going to eat some empty carbs because like I just need to fill up a little bit for right now. I would really focus on like eating the good quality foods, and I would just go right back to that. And the first time I did it, I felt really good. So like I knew that the second time I was like, okay, remember how you felt last time? It felt great. And I would just keep doing that. And so the kind of gratification from it working the first time is what helped me through the rest of the program.
It's important to find the balance. We have families, we have dinners, we have events, and we get to this place when nothing's working. We think that we can't go to these things, or we do, and we fall so off track because we restrict for so much. It's truly about creating a lifestyle, which is why I teach you, how to eat out, with traveling, with all of that, because you understand. And it makes more sense if you understand about the why and the how. To me, that was a huge thing because I had anxiety around food when I had my eating disorder and everything. I want to know why and the how behind the food and how it's working in my body. So I make these healthy choices and I'm like, oh, this is why I'm doing it. I feel better because of this.
I think really understanding the why and the how the food work in your body and it becoming like a scientific thing as opposed to a feeling thing, that was actually really helpful.
Going just from there with that, how do you feel learning about the food and doing this in a way to actually get the energy, doing it in a more sustainable way and learning about the food? How do you feel like it impacted your relationship with food?
Tremendously. I don't think that I look at food anymore like all fat is bad or anything like that. I used to look at certain foods and be like, oh, it's low calorie, so it's fine. And I think that really looking at like the quality of the food that I'm eating and making sure that for the most part, things are really high quality protein, fats, and carbs, and not just a candy bar or a piece of white bread. Focusing on really the good quality parts has been very helpful. And I feel knowing that it makes me feel better is what makes it sustainable.
How do you do this with the busy life? Because people are probably thinking right now, it sounds like a lot of meal prep and it sounds like a lot of work. And I don't have the time for the quality food and all of this going on. And you're a busy mom. You go all the weekend. We are finding time for you. That was our big thing. I'm like, we're going to make you time.
For me, I have to get my workouts in first thing in the morning because that is my time. No one will interrupt me. I've gotten up on weekends before soccer tournaments. If I can't get a full workout in, I get in at least some strength training. In between games, I will go for a quick run in between games around the fields. It's really finding ways to even just carve out a little bit of time. In terms of food, I haven't really meal prepped in the past, but what I definitely did do is like plan ahead for what I was going to make and then make lists for the grocery store and make sure I have everything on hand. I kept breakfast and lunch really simple. Most days it's really the same thing and I just vary up dinner, which helps a lot because then you don't have to think about it. You just go on autopilot. And that's what worked for me.
That's like a big thing is you're a busy mom. It's not about making it crazy, but we don't want to eat again chicken, rice, asparagus every single day. We had you interchanging. We got staple things like staple fats and oils and nuts and seeds. We got different frozen vegetables so that you're able as a busy mom to have things already prepped, prepared that you can throw into your Instapot or put in your air fryer when you don't have time and just smush together, get some rice cakes and sardines and avocado and bring those with you while you're going to your son's game so you could have simple, fast, easy things to keep you on track versus we don't have a plan, we don't have the food, but we think it needs to be so complicated. So we don't even try to have a plan because we're too overwhelmed. It's like keep it stupid simple. That's the motto. Other than the weight loss, are there any other positive changes that you saw that you didn't think you were going to experience when you came to me for going for weight loss?
My energy is better. I am stronger. The focus on strength training has been so good for my body, not just in terms of weight loss, but in terms of feeling strong in my body, which has made a huge impact on my confidence level because I feel so much better. Even just like putting clothes on, everything just fits better. When you feel good, it just makes everything a little bit easier.
When you don't feel good, you don't want to do good, and you get in this vicious cycle. You need that support. You need a game plan so you start feeling better. Once you start feeling better, you want to do better. That gets you in a good cycle of going. We just have to stay on that and overcome the struggles that hit with the busy lifestyle and everything. And that's the key, is making it simple so that we can keep on that good momentum.
The other thing I would say is like when you're busy, don't beat yourself up. If you have a plan and there's a wrench, there's always a wrench. Don't beat yourself up. Say, okay, I'm going to do what I can do. And then the next day you come back and just get right back on it. And don't beat yourself up or focus on the fact that you didn't necessarily get to do everything you wanted to do in your workout. And that's okay. The next day you just come back and you get right back in it. Don't let it become something like, I'm just going to give up because I don't have time.
That's such a great tip that you just said right there to so many of the moms out there, because it's easy to feel overwhelmed and to feel off track. Is there any other tips you have for those moms out there that are busy and they're trying to lose weight and they hit a similar place for you, or advice you would have for them?
I would say definitely look at your schedule and find times that work for you. Carve out times to get your workouts in because it will make you feel better. I tell my kids this all the time. If I didn't have this time for me, I would not be as good of a mom. This actually makes me a better mom. And they respect that time. It's early. I get up really early to get my workouts in. Then, in terms of like food, I would say figure out like what works for you. If meal prepping on a Sunday for the week works, do that. If do it in the afternoons or at night, but it is definitely doable, and make it easy. Make it so easy for yourself. You don't have to create these elaborate recipes. You can do very simple things, and that's fine, and they're delicious, and your family will love them.
When in doubt, pull out the dates, put a Brazil nut in the middle with some coconut butter or
Yup.
almond butter. Yum. We don't need that crazy Reese's Pieces. We got like a health, fiber, and delicious caramel all in one.
Yep.
Before we hop off today, I just want to go in really fast and talk about what we did with your training and fasting really fast. With your training, we all get that stigma, as we mentioned earlier. As we get older, it's not just about doing all the cardio. It's about really starting to make sure we're getting the strength training in to maintain the lean muscle mass. This also, it helps with your blood sugar levels. This helps with you pull the insulin. This helps you utilize the carbohydrates that we're eating. It pulls it, makes your cells more receptive. All of these things have positive benefits on our health and our longevity. But we think we need to go 7 days a week. As we get older, we may have aches and pains, knee pain, tennis elbow, arthritis going on. It's really about finding the perfect for that individual. With our workouts, 45 minutes to an hour maximum. We want to keep them smart. I didn't have you doing crazy burpees or anything. And we customized it to you based off of the equipment you have. We had dumbbells. We made it very simple so you could have time with your kids. And we focused on progressive overloads. We had our initial start point. We started building your strength up, and then we shocked your body a few weeks in with a new program, continuing to build that lean muscle mass, because so many of us, we change our program all the time. The truth is, when you start a program or you do a workout, that first time you do it, you do not know what your true working weight is. If you're just going and doing all these different workouts all the time, you're not truly applying progressive overload, maximizing your results with that plan. We kept them short and effective to fit with your lifestyle. I set your steps and your cardio as a tool and use that because we want to make fat loss sustainable. Anyone can take someone and cut their calories and add in cardio, but we wanted to balance with your lifestyle and get your calories up and build your metabolism. And with the steps, for all of you on fat loss, if you're on very low calories and you're not tracking your steps, start tracking them, because our bodies are smart. The deeper you get into a deficit and the more cardio you're pushing, your body starts conserving and you start keeping your water closer to you. Maybe you're parking in the front of the parking lot versus the back. You start moving less. Then you're not losing weight. So we increase the calories more, and then we're working harder, not smarter. When it comes to the training for my women 40 plus, we don't need crazy long workouts, make them to fit your lifestyle. We want progressive overload. And it's not about going crazy on the cardio. It's about finding the movement, the steps, making sure that's there, and creating that balance with your lifestyle. Did you have any challenges throughout, or what did you feel was different with the way we did our training?
I felt a lot of the movements, the compound movements, I felt were super helpful and really effective, because then you're training multiple muscle groups at one time. So like you get more bang for your buck in a shorter amount of time, which I thought was really good. I think I said this before. I loved the training program. It was probably one of my favorite parts of the program, because I felt there were a lot of times where I was really able to focus on form. I improved my form. I got stronger. I was using heavier weights. I did some exercises I've never done before. I also really liked the change up in between, because it really, I felt, took my training to the next level in the second half of the program.
Let me see those arms. Give me a flex. Wait, move back. What? Look at that shred, babe. You are looking so good, and you're continuing. It's been a few weeks since we finished. Are you feeling like everything we did was more in a sustainable way for you?
Oh my God, yes. And this was like a really stressful week. Any moms can appreciate this. It was like the first week of school. everything kind of gets thrown in the air and figuring out what to do. And I was really able to stay on track with my program. So to me, if I can do it this week, I can do it any week.
Is that just through like simple tools, the time blocking and the simple nutrition tools?
Yes, just simple nutrition, especially in weeks when it's like this. Don't make yourself crazy. That was my mantra. I was like, okay, I'm going to do what I can for dinner. It's going to be simple. It is going to be easy. We're not having gourmet meals this week, and that's okay. And like next week, I'm going to try some different things in terms of timing for myself. I'm actually going to do a little bit of meal prep just because for me, that's going to work better for my schedule with my family. But that's how I'm going to make it sustainable for me. If I can get it through this week, I can get through any week. And then just figuring out week by week, like what works. Do I need to meal prep? Can I do it? Do I have time during the week? It's really going to be sustainable going forward.
I'm just hearing you say this after we finished and everything. You put in the work. You literally are taking all the tools, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I'm just
you.
so proud of you, and you're a superhero to your kids. Can you believe I need you to say it. How many pounds are you, babe?
10 pounds.
Do we know our inches yet or no?
Yeah, and I lost 2 inches off my waist.
And we're continuing to eat more food,
Yep.
continuing on this journey. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
if there's anybody out there, do you have any other advice, or would you recommend my program to anybody?
I would 100% recommend the program. I don't want anyone to ever feel like overwhelmed because it's really easy. And Elizabeth makes it so easy to follow. She's totally there if you need anything, if you need help, if you need recipe suggestions, if you're injured, like whatever you need, she will help you figure it out. So I would 100% recommend it to anybody who's thinking about it.
You're so sweet. When you have all the health issues like your entire life, my whole passion, my whole thing of starting my social media was I'm going to document my journey so I don't fall back into it. But it's I always wanted to help people. And my family was like, just put up a website and just get started. I'm like, I'm not in my health journeys. I had to spend my time. I spent over 10 years on my health journey to get where I am so that I could help people. And my whole goal with my clients is number one is we want to get to the healthiest place of our life. We look at the stress, the sleep. If we can get to the healthiest place, our body goes with it without extremes. And my second thing is sustainability. I want you to have all the tools so that you don't need me after the 12 weeks, because the truth is, if you can sustain, that's the biggest win for me, because I struggled for so long and I just don't want that for anyone. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for putting your trust in me and eating more food.
Thank you for all that you did to help me get to this place. I would not have been able to do it by myself to get here.
Seriously, I love you so much. And you are a true superhero to all of your kids, your husband, and just all the women out there too. You're showing them right now that no matter what, with a busy life, yeah, it's overwhelming, but with small tools, you can literally transform your body, get your sexy back, feel that confidence, and go into whatever 40s, 50s. I have women up into 80 flexing shredded. This transformation is proof that real change is possible. Whether you've been struggling with weight loss, battling low energy and cravings, or feeling stuck in frustration, it's never too late to turn things around. And you can do this too. If you're tired of starting over, frustrated with slow progress, or just ready to feel in control and confident with your health and in your body, our 90-day whole body transformation is here to guide you step by step. This isn't about quick fixes or extreme plans. It's about learning how to fuel your body so cravings don't control you, building strength and muscle with workouts that you actually enjoy, and addressing the root causes like gut and hormone imbalances so that you can finally see real permanent progress. Click the link in the description so you can learn how you can lose fat and keep it off for good, feel energized and confident in your body, and finally achieve results that last.